Speaking of linebacker, what is the rotation going to look like for the Oklahoma Sooners in 2025? We'll discuss that coming up next here on Locked On Sooners.
You are Locked On Sooners, your daily podcast on the Oklahoma Sooners. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Thanks again for making Locked On Sooners your first listen every single day. Shout out to all the everydayers out there tuning in. Subscribe to the show wherever you get your podcasts. We're part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Coming up in the third segment, Jeremiah Fears is a Pelican. I don't know if that's how Warren's like, oh, there it is.
I'd say that. Or mine. No, one of the two. Mine. Yeah. One of the two.
We just watched Finding Nemo actually just last week with the kids.
That's
again, hilarious. Fantastic film. It holds up. The Oklahoman is asking a burning question for each position group for the Oklahoma Sooners in 2025. We discussed the safety room yesterday, but here we're going to talk linebackers. Jay, what does the Oklahoma linebacker rotation look like for the Sooners in 2025?
To me, the more interesting question is, who's going to be your next Danny Stutzman type? Who's the one that's going to really take over and be the leader? Naturally, you would probably say Kip Lewis and expect him to be the one that really takes over. I think it's probably going to be Kobie McKinzie, though. I remember one of my favorite things about him. I think it was a portion of last season and the season before when he was younger, when they would actually get him in the game. He'd go out there and he'd smack the defensive tackles to move them left and right. And he was the one that was always pushing people into different areas and helped to get everybody into the right coverages. And so I think he's going to be the one that's going to end up doing that and let Kip kind of be out there and let him freestyle the way he does best. But I can totally see him also stepping up. Now, from there, it gets very intriguing because you've got a Kendal Daniels who not only will play interior linebacker, he's also going to probably play some cheetah as well. And then you got Sammy Omosigho and then James Nesta. So you got like a nice little mix, and Taylor Heim as well. So you got a nice little mix of potential guys that you're really curious to see who's going to be the one that's going to take over. But honestly, in the rotations, give me Kip and give me Kip and Kobie, give me Samuel Omosigho and Kendal Daniels. I think that'll be your solid two deep to start, but I can totally see Kendal Daniels ending up being with Kobie and Samuel Omosigho going in there with Kip.
Is there anybody under more pressure on the defensive side of the ball than maybe Kobie McKinzie?
Oh no, I think you're right. Because that's the dude. Yeah.
He's expected to take over for Danny Stutzman, who is, to be quite honest, the face of the Brent Venables defense so far at Oklahoma. Nobody has been more important than what Danny Stutzman has been to the Oklahoma Sooners from a leadership standpoint, from an on-field standpoint, off-the-field standpoint, a production standpoint. He has been the most important piece. You go back to that 2023 season and the two games that Oklahoma lost in the regular season, Danny Stutzman misses a game and a half. He missed half of the Kansas game and you missed all of Oklahoma State. You lost those two games. Danny Stutzman plays in those games. Do you win them? Maybe. You just might win those games. And then you're going into, the Big 12 championship undefeated with an opportunity to get to the college football playoff. How important is Danny Stutzman? We're going to find out. I mean, Kobie McKinzie, you're going to have all eyes on you. Now, you're not going to be able to replace the character that Danny Stutzman is. Now, I'm not talking about your integrity character. I'm talking about the personality, the persona. Nobody is like Danny Stutzman. We're not expecting you to be that guy. We're expecting you to be Kobie McKinzie, the guy that's bided his time. He's been patient. He's waited his turn behind Danny Stutzman. He's known that, hey, just got to bide my time. Got to wait for Danny Stutzman. He didn't bail for the transfer portal when Stutzman decided to return for 2025. Kobie McKinzie stayed patient, continued to trust the process that Brent Venables and the defensive staff had laid out for him. Trust the plan. And so I'm excited for what he's going to bring, but the pressure's on, man. You got to deliver because you've got a veteran in Kendal Daniels that can step in and take some snaps. You've got a really, really intriguing younger player in Samuel Omosigho that everybody's excited about with this incredible athleticism that's ready to take some snaps if you don't deliver. So Kobie McKinzie, man, all eyes on you.
Yeah, he's the one that everybody's yeah, you said everybody got their eyes on Kobie. I mean, he came in as a guy that was bigger than Kenneth Murray when you saw him as a high schooler and you saw him standing next to each other. You're like, wait, this dude is like legitimately bigger than him. And so now he's just ready to go out there. He's built to play in the SEC. That's probably the one thing that's good about Kobie. He's built physically to be a dude that can play in the SEC. I need to see him go out there and take over in a game. He, to me, will be your Danny Stutzman run stuffer. Mm-hmm. He'll be the one that's off the run. I may have some concerns about him in coverage. More so, I just need to see more of it. I need to see what he's going to be able to do. Kip, on the opposite side, he's probably bulked up enough to where I think he'll be stronger in the run while also still maintaining his skill set in coverage. Like, he does well when it comes to that. I mean, the couple of pick sixes we've seen out of him tells you enough that quarterbacks are going to try to figure out where he's at and make sure they don't throw his direction. Because if they throw it his direction, he's probably going to just take it to the house. Omosigho, though, is going to be fun because he's the one that I think is going to push both Kip and Kobie the most. Because I know that they're going to find a way to get Kendal Daniels on the field just because of his size and stature. He's probably going to end up playing some safety too. Like I said, he'll play cheetah. He's going to be moved around a lot. He's the one that Brent Venables had been hoping to find for years, that legitimate Isaiah Simmons-sized guy that has the ability and speed to play safety as well as linebacker. And they've seen the work ethic out of him, so they're not concerned there. Oklahoma State fans were in my mentions like crazy when we got him. It was like, oh, he's super lazy and he doesn't blah, blah, blah. Oklahoma ain't got that concern. They've seen him in practice. They've seen his hustle and his grind. They're like, nah, it was more so y'all. It wasn't us. So with that being said,
yeah,
we expect Kendal Daniels to be moved around a lot. And so if anybody that I think is going to push those two really is going to be Sammy Omosigho, because he's shown, it looks like he's about ready to get more action, more game time. So I could totally see him really pushing his way in to try to fight for minutes between Kip and Kobie, and actually in either one of those spots.
Yeah, I think Sammy Omosigho is ready to take on a big-time role. He saw 300 snaps last year, and he graded out really well. If you take Pro Football Focus grades for what they are, he was somebody that showed well in the run game as a pass rusher. In coverage, he graded out well. Back to Kobie McKinzie. I mean, you talked about a guy that's going to be the run stuffer. Well, the stats bear that out. He played 337 snaps for Oklahoma last year, which was 15th on the defense, according to Pro Football Focus. Well, he finished 7th in defensive stops. So that's pretty good. Like,
yeah,
he had more defensive stops than, Eli Bowen. He had more defensive stops than, Trace Ford, who played, more snaps. Jaden Jackson, who played more snaps. Dominic Williams, that played more snaps. Peyton Bowen, who played more snaps. Kanai Walker. I mean, a lot of guys played a lot more snaps than he did, and he was a little bit more productive than they were. Now, as you mentioned, has to continue to improve in coverage, but was only targeted 6 times in a bunch of snaps. I think he had 170 coverage snaps, or was it real quick? Sorry, 131 coverage snaps and was only targeted 6 times. To me, that's an encouraging thing. If you're out there that much and you're targeted that little, it's because you're where you're supposed to be and you're doing your job, and people don't want to throw it at you. So I'm encouraged and I'm optimistic about what Kobie McKinzie is going to be able to be, but he's got competition for snaps breathing down his neck. So that second game of the year against Michigan, when they're going to try and run the ball to take the pressure off of Bryce Underwood, Kobie McKinzie, you're up, man. Double-digit tackles, several tackles for loss. It's your time to really break out.
We want to see it. Give it to us, Kobie. We know you got it in you.
That's right.
You came here with that size and stature. Give me some. I just want to see you take somebody's helmet off. If you can do that for me, I think I'll excuse the entire season if you hit somebody and the helmet flies off.
Yeah, time to find some Kinsey Hansen clutch gene in Kobie McKinzie.
I like that.
Maybe that rubs off a little bit on our boy. Yeah, and take on that approach, that Tupac approach, right? All eyes on me.
There we go.
So, anyway. Coming up, Jeremiah Fears got all eyes on him as he's going to New Orleans. We'll discuss coming up next here on Locked On Sooners.